In honor of my new term, I wanted to get something special for all the officials and the staff in the office and our public works superintendent. And so we have Village of Hainesville wind shirts. And our former mayor, Ted Mueller, is also in the audience. And Ted, you can hold up your wind shirt. He got one as well. And Ted is going to have a birthday this Sunday. He's going to be 89. Ted, I hope you have half the energy you have.
Actually, June 7th, I will have outlived all members of my family, even my oldest grandfather.
Really? Wow. Congratulations.
Cool. I heard you were a stubborn old dude.
Even that cancer bug's not doing it.
Nothing's going to beat you, Ted. Good job. That's wonderful.
I gotta live my grandfather.
Okay, in between cake bites, we're going to try to get through the rest of the board meeting so we can all go celebrate and have fun or do something. We have reports and communications. We're going to start with our village engineer, Greg Bruin.
Thanks, Mayor. Really, the only thing I can report is the water tower project. Contractor submitted a schedule for us. It's a 7-week schedule. He's actually mobilizing today and tomorrow. The hydrodynamic tanks in. If you notice those big weight things in the park, those are in and operational. The tower itself, we're going to be draining that in about a week. So this time next week, it should be tented and covered. And then we're going to drain the tower. At that time, we recommend that there be some watering restrictions in the neighborhood. There's a 400,000 gallon tank out there currently. There's a 90,000 gallon ground storage facility. That's at well number 1. And Village of Lakemore did the same thing last summer. And they had a water restriction during the months that the tank was not operational. Tank should be back up online basically just before 4th of July. And that should be the schedule, weather permitting.
Would our usual water restrictions do the job? Alternate day watering, or do we need something stricter?
Out in Lakemore, they did a total ban, and that's pretty much what we would recommend.
So as soon as several days before the tower is fully drained, we should be putting out a CTY call that everybody will love to get and putting an announcement in the June newsletter.
Correct.
They just ban watering?
Just lawn watering is the real issue.
Hand watering,
that
vegetable
would be
garden, that will be fine, right?
It's the sprinklers going
I should
Yes.
fill hours.
What about kiddie pools? You know, we have a 2-hour limit technically with kiddie pools, so that would
Yeah,
still.
the kiddie pool, that's not the big issue. The big
You
issue
wanna
is
take away
everybody
Christian's
mowing
fun.
or
Yeah.
watering their lawn for hours.
Okay. Anything else for Greg? All right, our village attorney, Jim Rack.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a little bit of housekeeping matter related to the Firestone plat of subdivision. When the attorney for and the surveyor designed the plat, they neglected to have it signed off by Illinois Department of Transportation initially, which is a requirement for properties that are located on state highways. They were able to take care of that this month and get it recorded. We now have the recorded documents back, so that project is wrapped up. Also, we prepared the ordinance establishing a tree repair program for the Tree City USA program, and that's on tonight's business agenda.
All right, thank you, Jim. Public Works Superintendent Jeff Gately.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to add a little bit of what Greg was touching about on the water tower, I did meet Jenko out there on site this morning. Talked talk with the supervisor that's going to be in charge of the project. One thing that we are going to do is close off the basketball court that's located at Brittany Park. When they put the outriggers out for the tent, it's going to cover about half of the court. I did talk with Jeff Naila from the Grays Lake Park District, informed him of this. They're very appreciative of that. We're also going to take the basketball hoop down just to hinder anybody coming in when nobody's around. So hopefully the weather's going to stay nice. They're going to get going and stay on track. So that's enough of that. Our landscape company Flex started today. They spent all day here at the Village Hall. If you noticed, everything is trimmed up and they did a very, very nice job. They should be out for the next few days getting everything cleaned up and trimmed up throughout the subdivision entrances. And new plantings and some annuals in color will be going in last week of May, first week of June, depending on, again, the weather situation. As far as Public Works, the seasonal employees are starting to trickle in. I have one new hire that we brought on a week ago. 19 years old, he lives here in Hainesville. It's working out very well. I do plan on adding 2 to 3 more employees, which will bring us to a total of about 6. Keep in mind, I know we have set hours of what's budgeted for, so not everybody will be working 5 days a week. What I'm trying to do is get a rotation of people in here trained. So as some of the older ones that are starting to go out, we will have people ready, that can take over positions without, too much of a delay where we have to train. Exactly. I have received a draft. We've been working on a draft letter that we're going to be sending to the residents for the Emerald Ash Borer. We're looking to start that plan in June, probably mid-June. We should have that out to the residents, hopefully by early next week. We'll probably have it in the mail to go, just to give everybody a heads up of what's about to take place. The fountains, we have 4 fountains, 2 of them are on and running, 2 of them are not. We did pull the one from the Village Hall pond. We're going to be pulling the other one from the Misty Hill pond tomorrow. They're both covered under warranty, so there's no additional expense or what have you. We were told that they were okay to leave in over the winter months. Obviously, that was the fact because 2 of them came on as soon as we plugged them in. We may end up pulling everything out this winter just to see if, for some reason, that had something to do with it. We don't know.
We should get a report back though from Grover.
Yeah, we will. Once they talk to the aqua patio, to let them know.
Bye, thank you for coming.
And we are starting to do some of the pothole repairs. We got this drive done. Sorry about the delay for that, but the weather was just not cooperating. So there are some more in Cranberry Lake that we'll be attending to within the next week or so. And that's all I've got for now.
I've got a question for Jeff that may affect the tree ordinance. Ash now?
Ash, what, I'm sorry.
I have a question that may affect the tree ordinance.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the parts of the ordinance reads limitation of distance between sidewalk and curb for placement of trees, small, medium, and large. On a small, it's 2 feet from the sidewalk, 2 feet from the curb. I'm guessing we might be shy of 4 feet or right around 4 feet between sidewalk and curb. Just trying to picture it from my house. Would you agree or?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with it. Yeah, I think it's 4 feet.
So if we're supposed to, on the small trees, if we're supposed to be 2 feet away upon planting, it won't, from both.
I have a recommendation.
Uh-huh.
I would simply, I was just talking to Jim, let's add where it permits. Amend, so when we adopt a tree ordinance, it would say where it permits.
Okay.
Good point, it's a good catch, Terry.
So this is for section 10, Jerry?
I'm
Distance from
using-
curb to
Yes.
sidewalk?
Mhm.
sort of the species.
Yeah, that's why they gave me the big ones.
It's all right.
Is that gonna change this? That's okay.
Better to catch it now.
Yeah.
Can just do the motion.
When we get to the
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, where were we?
I'm done. Thank you.
That's fine.
Jeff, just a quick reminder, our electronic recycling dates, that's June 22nd?
June 22nd, yes.
Okay, so just a reminder to everybody out in their audience and YouTube land, June 22nd, we'll be doing electronic recycling. More info to come, and you can find it on the website. And we'll move on to our building official, Russ Crayley. Russ, before you take the floor, some of you may have already read, there's some news that got media press faster than Russ ever dreamed it would get. He didn't know he was such an exciting man. Russ has recently been hired by the village of Round Lake and will be serving as a consultant, administrative consultant.
The administrator.
The administrator, okay. And so Russ and I sat down and we had a talk the other day. I've already put feelers out and I'll be coming back to the board at our next meeting. I've already talked to a few other villages about who they use. Obviously some contract with the county. I did talk to Mike Ellis at Grays Lake about contracting with their building department. Anything we decide to do for the beginning will be short-term. I am envisioning just to get us through the summer building season. All the building departments are relatively slow. It's mainly projects going around. Russ has certainly agreed that the next couple of weeks till we get that all in place, he'll continue to do his duties. And also the McMahon construction, and we also have a lieutenant coming in at Grower. He'll continue to oversee those.
And finish it off over at the new countertop place.
Oh, yes, the granite.
So I got 3 projects that I want to see.
That he'll complete, since he already started them. So just, that just happened very recently and happened very quickly for us. Russ, I'll let you take over with the report. I don't know if you want to add anything else to that, or?
But right now, it's different and new, so we'll see. I'm not working full-time there, it's a part-time position, but it's, like I've been there the last 4 days, I've worked probably 30 hours in the last 4 days, just
You're
trying
supposed to
catch
work
up.
20 hours a week there?
Yeah.
Just couldn't handle the retirement on it?
Yeah, that's the way it goes, so we'll try this. My monthly reports, everybody should have it, there was nothing exciting this month, a couple of things, and that was about it. The biggest things are we do have new business coming in at Grower, and that should be in hopefully by around the 1st of June. New countertop place come in where ABC and Machine Shop used to be. We got that place cleaned up, squared up, fire department passed it, I passed it. We found out doing the inspection that we had a tenant living upstairs. The guy was renting out for the last 20 years with a residential tenant, which we knew nothing about. So we proceeded to evacuate them. So now that's going to be on the market as an office. Sometime as an office. So that's going to take place. And Back Construction has taken over the old building over there. They're remodeling the inside. They're going to do some outside work. We got all that yard cleaned up of all the concrete and stuff, so that's done. And they're also going to then, when they get their building finished, then they're going to look at the house in front and start tackling that because they want to turn it into a showroom or a sales office of some kind. So the renter, there's one renter left in there. We'll take them out, remodel that, and start using that as the whole complex as business. So,
The new tenant is going into the Grower strip mall.
yeah. Or no,
The vacant store.
It's in
the vacant store, yeah, which one was that before?
Right next to each.
Flower shop?
Yeah, the flower shop, that's it.
There's a carpet store last.
Yeah. So he does, I actually don't know what he does, I think he does some kind of painting and.
It's a upscale or hybrid hardware store that's specifically for paving and sealing supplies. So he sells the tools, he sells the sealer, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a very specialized niche that he's done very well with. And
Well, that's good.
will be very helpful for us to have in town, right, Jim?
Well, it's good too, because you got rid of 2 empty storefronts.
Yeah.
We've had ABC Reynolds been empty and not doing nothing for years, and that storefront hasn't been doing anything for years. So, we got somebody back in there, so that's a good thing. That's it for now.
All right, Mike Beckler, our EMA coordinator, is not here tonight, but I will tell you that the past week or so, he's been feverishly working out in the garage that's behind the village hall to turn that into the emergency command center or operations center. And so there were some new items that he had purchased, and he did a lot of heavy cleaning. There's some cleaning that our public works crew is going to do, and some painting that they're going to use as filler during the summer when there's rainy days. That doesn't need to be done immediately, but he has done a lot of work in a few days. So with that, we'll move on to our treasurer, Kelly Hensley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give the board an update on the audit. They are scheduled in-house here June 10th for that week. I've been scanning quite a bit of documents and emailing them over, so they're getting a jump start. We've been working back and forth, already getting requests in and finalizing those requests. So the audit is technically really started.
I already got my envelope for my questionnaire. I was surprised how fast I got that, so.
So we're working hard on it, trying to get a good jump start on it so we can really finalize out fiscal year that we just had, April 30th. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Village clerk, Kathy Metzler.
Okay. Deputy Clerk Roseanne Stark and I finished up with all the business licensing renewals. Everyone will be receiving an updated list of the businesses shortly. I was going to talk about the new business over at Growers and the specialty Marlow and Granite. We do have 2 new home businesses, Lynn Dahlstrom Photography and Emerson Acupuncture. We have 56 businesses total, which includes 9 home businesses. I also worked on the resolution for the Hainesville Central Lake County Crossroads Wetlands Project. That's on tonight's agenda with Trustee Juberstein and the Mayor. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the mayor's report. I just want to thank everyone for your work and support and participation on the town hall meeting that we had. I think it went very well. We got some nice feedback. If you recall, we had some displays in the back where we asking people to give our written opinions. We have expanded that to, we're asking the same thing in the newsletter that's going out, and then asking for comments on the website as well. So we hope to get some higher numbers or a cross of different ages to see what the opinions are of how they best like to be communicated to, and in reference to the snow shoveling ordinance as well. Also, we had 2 great helpers at the town hall meeting. We served popcorn, and Ashley and Caitlin Werheim were our popcorn makers and servers, and they are seniors at Grays Lake Central High School. They're graduating. They were recipients this year of the Round Lake Chamber scholarships, and I expect them to be honored with several more awards, including at their graduation. So I will be inviting them to come to one of our June board meetings so we can recognize them for everything they've accomplished. I already know that they will be attending the University of Illinois and both pursuing a degree in biology, so we expect great things from those girls. And just check my notes here, make sure I don't miss anything. Just one item of note, we've been talking a lot about the parks and working with both park districts. I retrieved a message around 5:30 this evening from my voicemail. Apparently, depending where you live in town, you may or may not be familiar, there's a famous cut-through that goes from the east end of Hainesville into Grays Lake. And it's behind the wetland that is next to Antler Park off of Deerview Drive. And that takes you pretty close to Harvey, and that's the way to get to the high school, to Tasty Freeze and all those great, wonderful places. And there's a worn path that's worn into the wetland, so you know where to go. And some of those Grays Lake neighbors are more gracious and don't mind. The kids know which yards to cut through and which don't. Now, one of the yards that was a cut through put up a fence today. So, you can no longer cut through their yard. I know, they certainly have every right to put up a fence. I believe they had a dog and that may be reason enough. But the resident called me concerned about what again can we do as far as trying to make a real path, or perhaps is there any trimming we can do to make some of the other area more accessible. So Jeff, we need to get on the horn with Jeff Mahillian, Mike Ellis, also Rick Swearingen, who's a resident of Hainesville and lives on Deerview, is also a park board commissioner. And this has been something near and dear to his heart. And I know he's talked to Grays Lake about us trying to do something. And I'm thinking with that park being redone in 2014, now's the time that maybe we could get something better done in means of a path. So I just want to put that out there so we don't let that fall between the cracks. That's all I have. Let's move on to the standing committees. Finance, Trustee Daly.
Well, the tax bills arrived in our mailboxes, and I'll just speak to mine in conversations I've had with a few other residents. It just goes to point out the inequities and the stupidity of our taxing system. Houses smaller than mine are paying more tax than I am. I've appealed my taxes the last 2 years, and I've followed their procedures, and I've stood in front of the assessors, and he goes, oh, okay, I'll take it down to this. But since we went through the quadrennial reassessment last year, I truly understand that it makes no sense at all. So the only thing I can recommend to residents is when it comes out again next year, when you get your property assessment, if you don't think it's right, appeal it. Chances are you'll get your taxes reduced. I do not understand why houses smaller than mine are paying more money than I am. I'm not arguing about it, but I don't understand it.
But do you know, but they did appeal, is my guess.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, is that they haven't appealed. Okay, let's move on to Public Works, Trustee Walkington. You're up, Gary.
Already? I was just thinking to myself, was Russ. Public Works, oh yeah, that is. Hopefully, by the end of the week, Linda and Jeff and I will get together and go try to figure out a long-range capital outlay program of some kind. Something.
We've been trying.
Yeah, we just haven't been able to get together all at once, so technically it's Thursday, right?
Tentatively.
So-
Tentatively.
Which is fine with me, and that's all I have, get that settled, get that taken care of.
I can come over for Sunday breakfast, Gary. Is Diane making?
You're in trouble. If you're waiting for her to cook, we're all in trouble. I can fix bacon and eggs.
Oh, well, that suits me fine.
That's all I have.
Okay. Public Safety, Trustee Crease.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the mayor and the trustees on their renewed terms. And
Thank you.
the only thing, well, we did have a meeting last month because of the fact that we had the budget meeting, which took priority, so we had a quorum for the public safety meeting. Next thing is the fact that we last Friday, Trustee Duberstein, her husband, and Jeff Daly and I went to the Glenview garbage waste transfer station and observed the operations over there. The only thing that I kind of noticed right at the beginning was the fact that I did notice an odor that was coming in the area, I should say. Okay. One thing, when we were going through the facility, I noticed, they have a lot of beer makeup units, and they close the doors while the garbage trucks come in, and they dump, and then they move everything over to the big trailers. But I also noticed the empty trailers that were out in the parking lot, okay? And then there was 2 trailers there that were parked out there, and they were full, and they were getting ready, they were waiting to be transferred to the waste site.
Wait for the cab to.
Waiting for the cab to pick it up to take it out. And I made mention of that we go through all this extreme of closing doors and having air filtration inside the building, and then we take 30 tons of garbage and leave it outside for a half hour to an hour, and it just kind of stays there for a while.
And it was only covered with.
It's only covered with a tarp. It's only like a mesh tarp to keep it from.
A mesh tarp.
A mesh tarp, right. There's no, it's a mesh tarp, so it just keeps the earth through. So that's the thing that I observed, and I asked Walter Willis at the time, I said, you know, here we are, we're trying to go through all this and keep all contained as much order in the building as possible without going out to the neighborhoods, but we leave those outside. And he says, well, we have it there for about a half hour, and I said, well, but when you move one, another one comes out. So he said he took that into consideration, he should look into it.
How long a period of time does that go on as far as, you know, that's not all day. How long is it, or is it all day?
It's all day.
All day. So there's always a truck sitting there with a tarp.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Well, we were there for about an hour, hour and a half. I would probably say that those two trucks didn't move, or there were 2 trucks there at any given time for that hour and a
All right,
half.
so that's a good follow-up question, even to say for the hours. Okay.
Okay, and as far as the facility, I mean, you know, there's not much you can do. You know, I mean, it's all concrete. Nothing's escaping or anything else like that.
And if I may just interject, I want to ask everybody that attended there, if you could jot notes down, like what Wally's saying, type them up, send them over to the clerk and I in email, and then in the near future, I'd like to sit and talk with, you know, each of you one-on-one about that, just so when we follow up and move on, and there are more questions to go to SMOCO or group, if we can do that.
They did minimize the noise, except they said that the trucks are gonna start from 4 to 6 in the morning.
Well, they like to stagger. As far as starting at 4 or 5 in the morning, they like to stagger their hours. So
Now, they
don't-
claim
they
they
don't-
had no residential complaints,
Right,
though. There's no
right.
complaints.
There's no complaints, but that's mostly to keep, so that they stay out of the way of the traffic.
Did you, anybody have a chance to drive through the residential area to see where you noticed the odor?
No, I work up there, so one day I'm gonna take.
Well, yeah,
I go-
I'm even thinking about driving there this summer when the heat's
Right,
on.
and I was thinking of maybe going and asking, if maybe we'd go knock on a door or something and ask the neighbors, you know, what they thought of it, what impact they had, a firsthand, knowledge of it. And like I said, I might stop in after work, since I work down there, and I can do it.
They said when the plant was
So use
first,
your microphone, Judy.
when the plant was first built, they had a citizens committee that checked on the fact that they were complying with all the regulations and everything, and that after a year, the committee disbanded because they found that they were in compliance all the time.
Well, the EPA has to have control of that thing
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
doesn't it?
There was, how would you say it? They said, yeah, the EPA looks into it, monitors it, but they have such a low staffing at the EPA that they might not be there, for a week, a couple of weeks, or maybe a month at a time. They're not there all the time.
Maybe that's good, so they never know when they're gonna be there.
Well, yeah.
Well, we have our Lake County inspector who would
Right.
certainly be there. He's at all our SWACO meetings. But this is good for follow-up, so we know what else to pursue.
So, and the next meeting is going to be in 2 weeks, the 28th. So hopefully somebody would join us and let us know what's going on around, what they might have as a safety concern within the community. So,
Okay, we'll move on to wetlands and open spaces. Trustee Hooverstein?
We're going to be talking about the grant proposal during business.
Okay. So should we move on to business?
Well, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure you're done.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a couple copies of the grant that I could.
Why don't we start
So you can
sending
pass
it up and
it
down?
down.
So,
This and the scenic, so you can have both of them.
what's coming down for everybody to eyeball is a grant that's being submitted that has to be put in the mail tomorrow. It has to be postmarked the 15th. And that's why we have a resolution, item 2. And then item 3, we had discussed a couple meetings ago, and here's the actual ordinance establishing a tree care program. This within the Tree City USA standards. We brought up we were becoming a tree city when we pursued the EAB grant for the Emerald Ash Borer. So let's go to business number 1, which has nothing to do with the grant. It's approval of the Wolf & Company audit proposal for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2013 for the amount of $17,500.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
One piece of information, we decided in the finance committee that Kelly and I will meet with one of the VPs or president of Wolf to discuss long-term, maybe 2-3 year contract if we can negotiate price.
Very good. Roll call?
Trustees Dernoski,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item 2 is a resolution approving the Hainesville Central Lake County Crossroads Wetlands Project. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Trustees Dernoski,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Resolution R
Thank you.
13-5-71.
Maybe I should just mention what it is so that people who are watching on YouTube will know what we're talking about. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's,
This grant is a matching grant from ComEd for the Green Region, and you can get a maximum of $10,000. And what we're asking for are 26 trees and 30 shrubs to be placed in Deer Point, Lowlands near 120, some at Hainesville Meadow, and live plants at Misty Hill Pond, Misty Hill East Pond, and we're trying to create a butterfly garden adjacent to the Misty Hill Pond, and then put a sign in there so that people, in a path, so that people can walk around it and see what plants attract butterflies and then how butterflies come there. So just so that you know what we're going to accomplish.
Are we going to then spray the area for insects?
Can't leave it alone.
You can do that George Dallas out there already, I mean, just one more, the second load, the second side.
I'm sorry, Mr. Duberstein, it's just in my nature.
I know.
Well,
I'm going to learn and love it.
I will punish all of you by speaking some more. I know how you love it when I make speeches, so.
Motion to adjourn?
I will go further to say that this grant, another surprise grant that came up rather quickly. This is a grant that's actually being offered through ComEd. And originally it wasn't a grant that we necessarily could have pursued. But they didn't have a lot of takers on this grant, so they still had money left in the pot. And so they opened the parameters, and I got an email and notification from our rep, Diane Emerson, and when I read it, I said, oh boy, this sounds like stuff that we have in the wetlands budget. So I called Trustee Duberstein right away and said, here's, I got some work for you. So hence, that's where this all came from. So we are hopeful. I think a lot of good work has been put into it, and we look forward to hearing the announcement.
Did you ever say when they were going to let them win?
I've never gotten a specific date, sooner than later. That's the best answer.
That's all.
Item 3 is an ordinance establishing a tree care program in accordance with the Tree City USA standards. And in section 10, where it talks about the planting in the parkways for the parkway trees, where it talks about the width on either side, we're going to end that or amend that to say where permits. So we'll do that when it's achievable. If not, we'll do the best we can. I need a motion.
So moved as amended. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Trustees Dernoski,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Walkington.
Aye.
Ordinance 13-5-173.
Here's a parting food for thought. If you recall last summer, we amended our meeting schedule. We only met once in June, July, and August. I believe we should still have 2 meetings in June with the audit going on and are awaiting the results and deciding on possibly some budget issues, where those will move forward or not. But I want you all to think about in the next 48 hours or so, how you feel about going to 1 meeting in July and August. If we do that, Kelly, I talked to Kelly, and if you recall, we made it the 4th Tuesday of each month so that she could have the bills payable all accumulated for bill approval. So we would use that same format. If you have any concerns or don't want to go that route, that's fine. Simply say so, and if you could tell me specifically what your concern is, that would be helpful.
I would offer that the audit, which is the in-house on June 10th, that there probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, probably be nothing for the board to do in the month of June.
The last June meeting?
The last June meeting or a June meeting.
Because the first June meeting, I'm thinking we're just gonna need to do regular business. I was thinking we might have some audit information the second meeting in June.
Since they'll be here that June 10th week, it's gonna be, I mean, between what we get done now and when they're in-house to do more items, I'll be able to see some of their adjustments, but sometimes their adjustments do not come to me until like another week later after they're doing more items. And after they're done here, they'll go back to their office and redo some.
Okay, so June 25th is when the meeting would fall, so you're thinking not much by then. So then let's rechange it. Do we want to think about going to 1 meeting for June as well? And it would be that June 25th date then as well.
Yes, I would suggest that.
Okay, so everybody email me, drop me a line, something, okay? All right. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned, 7:59.